Yo, what's up, fam? Can y'all hear me good? If you can hear me good, drop a one in the chat. All right, what's up, man? So I'm gonna let a couple of people hop up in here. This is the first live stream that I've done on this channel. So excited to be speaking with you guys, man. The first of many, probably. All right, so I'm gonna let some more people hop up in here, man. What's up, family? What's up, man? So I see we got 6 people in here so far, man. Where y'all watching from? Poland, Polski. What's up, brother? Let's have some people hop up in here, man, and let's have a conversation. The first live stream on this channel, what I hope to be many. I'm gonna try to do these on the regular for you guys to connect with you guys and chat beyond the videos. I make a lot of content talking about mindset and lifestyle, but what I've come to realize is that guys need more implementation. So with these calls, I want you guys to ask me any question that you have. And also let's get to work. Let's actually apply the information and not just be somebody that's just watching a bunch of content creators. So we got Poland in here, man. Where you guys watching me from? Drop in the chat. Haiti. Sakafet Buzz. Okay, nigga Kevin. We got Poland, we got Haiti. What's up, man? A lot of people don't actually know the history that Poland and Haiti share when the Polish were sent to Haiti to help the French, but then they turned against the French. But that's another story. Y'all are quiet, man. Y'all are quiet. We got 8 people in here right now. So far, only 4 actually spoke. Y'all are quiet, man. What's up, fellas? Happy Saturday, man. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching me from in the world. First question from NK. I'm 20 and I've been seeing a couple different girls I met online. It's not fulfilling, but I know I don't want a relationship as I'm not where I'm at. As I'm not where I'm assuming you're saying because you're not where you want to be in life. What should I do? First thing I would recommend is that you're honest with them and that you're honest with yourself. If you want to date and see multiple girls, that's perfectly fine, but you don't want to make people a casualty of your incongruency. And what I mean by that is you want to be candid from the get-go. Second of all, you're 20, you're young. I would be more so focused on establishing yourself mentally and financially. So you want to be able to build your empire up so that you can sustain seeing multiple women if that's what you fancy. That makes sense? Cool, cool, cool. So you said, yeah, I've told them that I'm seeing other people. Cool. As long as you're honest, I always tell guys, don't deny what you actually want. If you want to see multiple women, that's perfectly fine, but just be honest so that you're not hurting anybody, so that you're not lying to anybody and going behind anybody's back. I personally, I enjoy seeing multiple women, like two at a time. I'm honest with them. They know about each other. But at that age, at 20, I would recommend that you get yourself established both mentally. I would recommend that you get yourself established financially because women are expensive. That's the truth. Also, be safe because it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of dirty people out here. So what's up for those of you guys that are just now tuning in, man? Welcome to the first live stream on this channel. What I hope to be the first of many. So this is a live Q&A. Feel free to ask me any questions. I talk to a lot of you guys through my Instagram in the DMs. And what I've come to realize is that a lot of you guys just like to watch the content, but you're not actually implementing it. So I want to take a chance to really help you guys implement the information because I want to see you guys win. What's the point of being here if you're not going to rack up dubs? B says, okay, I got a question, man, from someone who's not actually tall. I'm 5'7", and I ain't gonna lie, it's actually very difficult to be confident at all. So like I said, I think from a global perspective, do not get caught up on the height shit. Does height help when it comes to attraction with women? Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, I'm 6'5". Is it the only determining factor? No, it's not. When I lived in a little village in Italy, actually every country I've lived all over the world, I've seen men that were the average height, 5'7", 5'8", do well with women. It's about the congruency that you have internally, the character, who you are as a man. Obviously, financial resources matter as well. We're men, we have to be able to provide a certain lifestyle. But if you have other things going for yourself, don't let your whole personality be predicated on your height. I'm a ex-basketball player, so a lot of my friends are 6'10", 6'11". I know many guys who are tall who are still pussies because they rely on their size and they didn't have anything going for themselves. One of my good friends, Matt, he's a bald, white, 5'7" guy, right? He's eclectic, he's dynamic, he has a lot going for himself. He always has gorgeous women. So I wouldn't say don't hang on just the height. You can be an eclectic Renaissance man without the height and use your strengths, all right? Of course, G. Hold on, man. Let me put on my hoodie. I'm freezing my ass off right now. Teeth chattering and shit. Ugh. All right, let's get into it, fellas. Next question. David asks, do you have a core male friend group? How long have you known them? How many guys should you look for? And what kinds of things do you maintain? That's an excellent question, David. So yeah, I was actually thinking about dropping a vlog, the first vlog for you guys on this channel where a couple of my homies were in it. Yeah, I have a core male friend group. All of my friends are like me in the sense that we live globally. We speak multiple languages. We're into the same things and we push each other. Um, to answer your whole question in its entirety, how many should I look for and what kinds of things to do? I would say first, look to be the most exceptional man that you can be so that you can attract other high-level men to be brothers. That's the first. Then start putting yourself in these rooms or areas where high-level men will be so that you can add value to them first, and then you can build reciprocity. So that's the first thing. It always starts with internal. You want to continuously be striving as a man to be the best version of yourself, and then you're going to attract other high-level men and you're going to click because being an ambitious man is one thing. Being an ambitious man that exercises practicality is another thing. And this is why certain men click together, because so many guys are mental masturbators. So that's my advice. How long have you known them? So I have friends from all over the world that I've known like for multiple years. I have some friends who I've been cool with now for 8 years. I have friends that I've been cool with for 2 years. So it just depends. Mind of Martin. Best age for men to settle down and start a family. Oh man. So that depends on what your goals are, brother. Like for example, for me, I know that I personally don't want kids until I'm like 38. You know what I'm saying? So I've got years. It depends on what you want out of life. Like if you want to have kids earlier, if you're financially stable, if you have what you want, then I'd say go ahead and do it. But that's really going to be an individualistic answer to you, right? Some guys, they want kids at 25. Some guys want kids at 30. It depends on what you want. But just be honest with yourself too, because I coach a lot of guys who, let's say they're like 33, right? And they have a long-term girlfriend, and like she's pressuring them to get married and have kids, but he's just not coming into his, he's at 33, you're young and you're not in your prime yet, and you're just not coming into your stride financially. And now he's starting to get attention from other women, and there's always going to be other women. Like, you need to have discernment, but he's just not coming into his stride, and he wants to explore different things, and he's traveling, and now that causes conflict. So I would say, fellas, always be honest with yourself on what you want, and if you're not ready to settle down, you don't want to hurt somebody else because of you not being honest with yourself. That makes sense? Mark Silver, what's up? Shouts out to Brazil. Listen, Brazil is on my list, man. I've been talking with a buddy of mine that's in Brazil, and he has been telling me, yo, Dud, just come to Brazil. It's right there. It's right there. So I was like, all right, I might have to come to Brazil, man. He was telling me because I already speak Spanish, that understanding Portuguese would be easier. I've dated a couple of Brazilian chicks. I do understand it, but it's a completely different language. Prosperity P workouts. How can we as men show more emotional control during stressful situations? Profound question, my brother. You show more control by being poised and taking the time to ponder. Understand that you don't have to react to anything. Anything that can get you in an emotional, fervent, and zealous state has control and dominion over you. What do I mean? Anything that can get you excited can also get you depressed. This is the law of polarity. So when something is happening outside of you, always remove yourself from the situation and look at it from a macro perspective. Like, okay, this happened. The girl left me. This guy threatened me. How do I want to react? And once you operate from this position, you're not operating like a boss, and now you have control, rather the situation having control over you. That makes sense, fellas? I'm loving the question so far, man. Let's see. Van Lee asks, what's the best way for melanated men to level up economically as a group? In 10 to 15 years minimum, real estate, social media, trading, general entrepreneurship. The best way for melanated people to level up in general is to stop marginalizing yourself as melanated men. That's the first thing. Black people, brown, whatever you want to call it, right? People that have been marginalized. We oftentimes have this paradigm of thinking that because I'm black, it's harder. It's going to be this. Honestly, I'm a black man who has lived all over the world. I speak multiple tongues. That type of mindset holds you back. You need to break free from that paradigm. And that's the first step, is shifting your paradigm. And then obviously, like I always say, there's two ways that a man works on himself: in the 3D, on the 3D. Working in the 3D, in this case, you mentioned real estate as a vehicle to build wealth. Obviously, you can get into ETFs and stocks and what have you. That's working in the 3D. The most important thing you could do is working on the 3D, which is working on the mind and shifting the paradigm. Now, part of shifting the paradigm is acknowledging your biases, your prejudices, and your programming from the society and environment that you have grown up in. And once you're able to detach and bring in a new paradigm and flush out the old paradigm in your subconscious mind, then you can start moving like a global renaissance man. So this is deep work. Before you invest in the real estate or the other vehicles, you must clean out the mind first and not marginalize yourself. We know that there's certain systems set up in certain societies that aren't conducive to certain people. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is you need to expand the confines of your mind. This is how you truly become free, and this is how you truly make a difference. I hope that helped. B says, you help young men to develop themselves, and you know how difficult it is for young men in Haiti. Do you really think you can help someone actually live in Haiti in your program? I help anybody that, for one, can commit and can afford my program, but for one that makes it through the application process, that's going to do the work. I have gentlemen from all over the world in my program, from Croatia, the Netherlands, Uganda, St. Croix, the U.S., Canada. So I coach guys from all over the world. It doesn't matter what country. Again, that's a paradigm issue, right? I work with guys that come from third world countries, like my family from Haiti, and they get the same results that a guy would get if they were coming from the US. It's about you actually committing to yourself, and I mean that's what it's about, really. Drizzy, how old are you? The only time somebody asks how old you are is when you want to do a comparison on your life. That question is asinine. It doesn't matter how old I am. That doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form, my brother. So I'm here to answer questions that's actually going to help you guys. Van Lee says, which YouTube wave would you have capitalized on if you could do your late teens and early 20s again? Pranks, dating coach, red pill, travel. I would have. So I chose to capitalize on a personal brand back when I started my first channel back in 2016. And I think that's the most important thing to do, because now you see where the creator economy is heading within the next 7 years, expected to be $1 trillion industry. So the pranks don't last. Family channel, I mean, bro, I don't know about that. Dating coach, I mean, if you truly understand how to help men with women, that's fantastic. Red pill is too one-dimensional, and I don't believe that the red pill helps men as much as it should. Obviously, it teaches about hypergamy and things of that nature, but I believe that movement went, like far left. I believe you figuring out what service you can provide and then cultivating a personal brand around who you are and how you demonstrate your prowess within serving people, in this case, a personal brand and lifestyle brand. I believe, that's the best way to go. That's my opinion. And then in conjunction, travel can be a part of that lifestyle brand as well. While you're showing how you serve people, whether you are a fitness coach, whether you are somebody that is a trader, or you're in sales or whatever. In every niche, there is a sub niche. Yeah. Jacob James asks, how do you pick up these languages so quickly? I can't move out the country just yet, but feel like I'm just spinning my wheels. Yeah, so I've mentioned this before. Whenever I'm picking up a new language, I set my phone to that language. So now what I'm doing is auto suggesting that language into my brain. I use an app that's called Lingo Deer. I'll go ahead and I'll drop it in the chat. I'm not sponsored, but I just believe that this is honestly one of the best apps. Lingo Deer. And I study 30 minutes to an hour a day, and that builds that's going to pay you dividends because you're now introducing that language into your mind every single day. Obviously, living in that society while practicing expedites that process. But for example, when I started learning Mandarin Chinese, I wasn't in China, right? So it's about you dedicating that time and then just constantly auto suggesting via settings in the phone. You actually taking time to sit down and do classes. David says, hold on one second. Let me, B10 says, do you think the final point that we men accomplish all those things are for women? Do I think that, so basically, if I understood correctly, you're asking if do I think what everything we do is for women? Not entirely. I think that everything that we do as men is for ultimately self-aggrandizement. Even through us serving people, which I believe is a man's calling, you're able to feel good about yourself because you're serving and you're helping. Human beings are innately selfish. Now, by a self-aggrandizement comes power, which men want power. Power gives you freedom, choices, options, and in conjunction with that, you get sexual access and an abundance of sexual access. So to get the women to be able to spill seed, yes, but I believe that most men want freedom and power. And what you come to find out is that you obtain freedom and power ethically by serving people. That's my take on it, though. How y'all feel about that? Jacob, what's up, brother? Congrats on expanding your reach with the first live stream. Love your work. Salute, brother. Salute, salute, salute. Jacob is actually a client of mine. That's what's up. Van Lee says, you know your ish, brother. The personal brand is where everything is heading in the digital ecosystem. Absolutely. I mean, guys, if you look at all of these major corporation CEOs, these guys who a couple of years ago would never get on camera, now they're getting on YouTube. Why is that? It's because the market is shifting. The average consumer is so much more savvier. They don't want to buy from a faceless corporation. They want connection. I mean, that's why guys come into business with me and they hire me as a coach. They see the content. I add so much value. They're in pain. They need help, and they hire me to help them get out of that pain. And then they do the same thing with their businesses via a personal brand. That's how it works. No doubt, Drizzy, I wasn't speaking about you specifically. I said typically. But yes, sir, man. Where y'all watching from, man? I know we got Haiti. I saw that we have Poland. As it regards to personal brands, for example, a 15-year-old girl would rather buy lip gloss from Ruby Rose than JCPenney. Everything has shifted. Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly. So if you guys can understand that the market of commerce has changed, it would be behooving for you guys, if you want to get into business, to start personally branding yourself now. Not tomorrow, not saying, oh, I don't have a camera. No, like starting now. Miami, Toronto. I was just in Toronto last year. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna try to get more live streams out for you guys because I don't want you guys to just watch the content. Like I want to have these actual live interactions where I can help you guys solve these issues or at least start the process of solving your issues live on camera. Because you guys don't lack the information. There's so much information out there, fellas, that you can just consume it and it'll literally paralyze you. But you have to start putting that shit into practice. That's how you make moves. Jersey, is it normal to feel tired at times of trying to become and behave like the man I want to be? Sometimes my ex paradigm is taking over, and I'm wondering if those mental dips are part of the game. Yeah. It's absolutely normal to feel tired sometimes, especially if you're burning the candle at both ends, right? So, and that's a fantastic question, right? I want everybody on this stream to know, like, this hustle culture that's telling you to just go hard and just don't stop. Look, you're a human being. You're not a robot. That being said, you have to understand yourself and how to set up systems. I told you guys I allow myself to go on a date every single weekend. Why? It's because I'm grinding during the week and I need that social time. I need that release. I need that balance. If I just burn the candle at the end of at both ends, I'm not going to be able to sustain my productivity. So this is why you guys have to understand yourselves and be able to implement enjoying your life as a man. We're not just working hard just to work hard. We're working hard for what? Freedom, for options to help our family to do what we want. So you have to be able to celebrate your micro victories and stack those small wins. And those small wins, right, are going to compound. If that makes sense. Drizzy's out in Vegas. Salute. I used to live in Vegas. We got Cali. No, I was actually passing through Toronto when I went. I was coming from Norway. Jay Pump was good, G. What's up, Doug? Good to see you, man. And thank you for all that you do, working to be an all-around man. Now, moved to ATL recently, still working to find like-minded individuals. So circle. Salute. David's in France. Salute, salute, salute. It, it's interesting too, because like I have a lot of people in Europe that watch me, more specifically Eastern Europe. I have a lot of Eastern Europeans that watch me in Croatia, where else? Serbia. Dobre jutro, brate. Van Lee asks, having been around the world, do you find that American women are the most savvy with social media, entrepreneurship, and general money making? That's a fantastic question. Man, that's an excellent question. Let me think about that. Do I find that American women are the most savvy with social media, entrepreneurship, and general money making? I would have to say, from what I've experienced so far, it depends because, for example, living in Colombia, a lot of women are on social media. Obviously, there's OnlyFans and cam girls and all that stuff. So when we're talking about savvy, are we talking about savviness in terms of being straight and going quote unquote the right path or the not so right path? Because in Colombia, these chicks are hustling. They got the OnlyFans, they got the cam girls. Obviously, in the USA, a more affluent country, they have more access. You know what I mean? So that's a good question, man. I can't 100% say yes on that question, if that makes sense. David asks, what are the most masculine hobbies or habits for a man in their 20s to have? The most masculine hobby you'll ever have is sitting your ass down, pondering, and gaining control over your mind. As a man, you have to have control over yourself. That's the most masculine thing that you could do. Masculinity is not just this one size fit all, it's direction, it's clarity. So having that clarity over yourself, first and foremost, is the most masculine thing that you could do. Now that's working on the 3D, right? I said that there's two ways that a man works on himself. I would say learning how to defend yourself, obviously, via arms or physical combat. I mean, there's many different things that you could do. You feel me? Like it's not like a one size fit all thing. Let's see. American women have their red flags, but they go get it. Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I'm not one of these guys that will ever talk bad about American women because I've dealt with fantastic American women. I dislike this new movement of the passport bros that go abroad and give you guys a false facade that, oh, these women are so much better. Women are running game all over the world, fellas. Via this right here, the jig is up. They can get access to Western media that has been, honestly, is a cancer to the mind. So women are what they are. You have to be a better man. You have to be the best version of yourself, and you're going to attract the best kind of women. That's a whole fact. You feel me? Don't buy into that. Oh man, I'm in the Philippines. She's so much better. Yo, listen, man, these chicks be running game out here too. You attract what you are, fellas. That's the honest truth, man. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck with you. Uh, J Pump says, does the journey of self improvement get lonely for you sometimes? And how to get past those emotions? Yeah, of course. Anytime that you're trying to be the best version of yourself and be elite, it means that you're an anomaly, you're an outlier in society because the average populace is okay with being average. And that's cool. That's just not me. And I would hope that's just not you, gentlemen. So anytime that you're going in the opposite direction, the path that's less traveled, it's gonna be lonely. But as you said, those are just emotions, and masculinity doesn't dwell in the realm of emotions. Rather, we are directed. So you have to be able to, as I said at the beginning of the stream, take a step back and observe, yes, I'm a human being and I have these feelings and I'm feeling these feelings, but I don't have to let these feelings make me move, and do something based off of these feelings. I can observe these feelings and admit that I have these feelings, and it's okay as a man giving yourself the grace to feel, but you don't have to react based off of these feelings. And this is what separates a man that's in control of himself versus a man that's just gonna, act out because of his emotions. Hell yeah, it's lonely. 1000%, brother. It's lonely. And that's exactly why I tell you guys to be the best version of men that you can be, because you're gonna attract other high level brothers like yourself. That's specifically why I created Modern Day Renaissance Man. I created my brotherhood for other high achieving men. So yeah, I agree. It's lonely, brother. Van Lee says, Savvy meaning an American woman can leverage social media despite her looks or expertise in anything. For example, be Simone, Cardi B, brands off of goofiness. Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, look, these chicks are savvy these days. A lot of people these days are savvy. A lot of people are finessing. So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, that's the game now, fellas. That's the game now, fellas. How did you escape the FedEx job? Um, I became somebody that didn't need to work FedEx. I I admitted that I was a fraction of the man that I needed to be. I did heavy work on my mind and I started scaling my business. At the time, I had a health and wellness fitness business, and I scaled that business up, and then yeah, I did what I had to do, man. There was a period of my life where I was working 4 jobs. I was doing FedEx, I was doing Uber, I had my YouTube, like I was hustling. You feel me? You gotta hustle, but you gotta have a direction and know where and what you're hustling towards. But most guys don't even know what they're hustling towards. They just know that they get online and they see Andrew Tate or they see somebody in a Lambo, and then that gets them all inspired and excited, and they're grinding towards something that they don't even know what they're actually grinding towards because they don't understand themselves. You got to figure out how to build systems for yourself, gentlemen. And you can only build those systems once you know who you are and what you actually want, not what somebody else is telling you that you should want. You feel me? Hope that makes sense. Of course. All right, Jersey. I'm 23. What mistakes do you do in your early 20s? If you could give me any advice that you know would get me ahead in life, I would say control yourself sexually. In my early 20s, I spent a lot of time sleeping around with a lot of women. I was playing basketball in college, and I was just honestly, I was a, I was a horn dog. I'm still a horn dog. I still have a high sex drive, right? But in my early 20s, I spent so much time chasing after girls. I wish I would have taught myself about business earlier. I wish I would have taught myself sales earlier. I wish I would have stretched even more earlier because I didn't start stretching until I got injured from basketball when I was like 20, I was 25. You feel me? So this was like a few years ago. And just gain control of your mind. Make sure that you're building acumen and skills that's gonna help you earn a good living. In this case, persuasion, sales, marketing. Take care of your body, fellas. It's not just bodybuilding lifts, stretch. I do yoga, I do Pilates, I run, I swim. Make sure that you build yourself into a hybrid athlete so that your body can handle anything. So I would say sexual discipline, educate yourself in sales persuasion, and take care of your body, you know. David, with Lent, Ramadan, and other religious periods coming up, as a man, what are the things you suggest we should give up for those that practice? Excellent question. Yeah, so we have a couple of Muslim brothers in the brotherhood, and they were bringing that up on our call on Thursday. So one thing that I personally did at the beginning of this year with my entire organization is we went the first 72 hours of this year with a fast, a strict water fast. We didn't eat anything as a brotherhood. It was just water for 3 days. Now it depends on your current situation. I don't know if you're diabetic. I don't know what you have going on. I would recommend that if you're gonna fast, abstain from food for a certain period of time. Watch what happens to you. Once you realize that you don't have to eat, like, and how much time we waste on food and thinking of food, I would say either abstain from food or sex, right? I oftentimes practice sexual detoxes. At the beginning of last year, I did a 3 month sex detox. No sexual access, no nothing, no stroking it, no nothing. This makes you better. We have to learn how to discipline ourselves. Discipline gives us freedom, fellas. I'm telling you, discipline is what sets a man free. When you can control yourself as a man, you walk different. Your energy is different. You become respected because they can tell. People around you can tell because what? You're congruent. A lot of guys are walking around here, even if they have a lot of money, even if they have certain things going for themselves. The reason why there's a discrepancy between who you want to be, who you say you are, is because there's a lack of congruency because you're not disciplining yourself behind closed doors. You portray yourself to be one thing in the public. You go on guys' Instagrams. All of those pictures and videos are who they want you to believe they are. They're projecting when in reality behind closed doors there's a clear discrepancy. They're not congruent. And so I would say whether you choose to fast from sex or food, just make sure that you choose something that's going to be challenging for you. It has to be hard because only through arduous struggles and pain is where you are truly fortified as a man. That makes sense? Bob Barker, what's up, brother? Like your content. I'm Bob from MD, Maryland. I saw you say you were a polyglot. What made you want to learn, and how long on average did it take for you to learn them? Excellent question, my brother. So ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be like James Bond. I was always drawn to how he was a capable man. He was a Swiss Army knife of a man. Growing up, I spoke basically two and a half languages. I'm a Haitian man. I grew up speaking Creole as my first language. We spoke some French in the house, and in English I learned in the U.S. But I was drawn to how James Bond could be dropped in any different society, and he would at least be conversational in the language. So I always was drawn to that. So as I got older, I started mingling with different people, and it really bothered me when I was in a room and I couldn't understand what was being said. That pissed me off. So I started getting into languages, but I always give credit where credit is due. I I used to watch this one guy that really inspired me, and this guy's name was Lao Shu, and this guy was a Black American dude that spoke like 50 languages. It was ridiculous, and I used to watch his content religiously, and he really inspired me to get into Chinese and everything, right? So that's the first part of your question. Um, in terms of how long it takes me, it depends on the degree of the language. For example, Spanish, because I was in a Spanish society and I was studying every day. I picked up the language in like 4 months, but to become super conversational, like I have a deep vocabulary in Spanish, that took over a year and a half. To be able to articulate myself like I do in English and Spanish, that took a year and a half. Mandarin, I presume is going to take me 3 years to become that fluent because it's such a more complex language in terms of tones and things of that nature. Um, Igbo took me about 5 months. So different languages will take you different times, depending on the complexity. Let's see. J Pump, been thinking about starting the meal prep service. HelloFresh, cooking every day does take up. It does, brother. It does, man. If you guys are in a stable place right now financially and you can afford a meal plan service or chef, brother, get the meal plan service, man. As men, especially as men that are building, you want to mitigate decision fatigue, and we have an infinite or a finite amount of energy. You want to make sure that you're allocating that energy, like I always say, towards the key needle moving actions in your day. The actions that are going to grow you, that are going to aggrandize you, that are going to make you better. Cooking doesn't make you better, fellas. Yes, it's a skill that we all need to be able to cook for ourselves. But if you could pay for that, man, get that streamlined. Let's see. Van Lee says, "Do you ever think about family building a eugenics level? Cause you tall, or you just want women that's on the program display?" Wait, what? Do you ever think about family building a eugenics level? Cause you're tall, you just want women that's on your program despite her genetics? Okay. For me, I mean, yes, I would love my children to be tall, but I mean, that's not really a concern for me. Like, my concern is that when I have kids, that they're healthy. That's the most important thing. I just I want my kids to be healthy. I want my kids to be taken care of. I want my kids to be competent. So for me, I've dated indigenous women in South America that were legitimate like 4'10". I've also dated women in Milan, Italy that were 6'1". You feel me? I dated girls in the US that were 6'4". You know what I mean? So, bro, I really don't think about it that way. If I connect with a woman and we have a good vibe and she adds value to my life and she, she's an addition to my life, then I'm gonna give her an honest shot. So I don't look at it that way. Yeah, I'm aware of eugenics. I'm aware of it, but nah, that's not a thought for me. Do you think about that, Venley? I would assume. I mean, it's a funny world that we live in because yeah, like people still people do put so much weight on being tall or a specific phenotype, like things of that nature. I just don't care. I really don't. You feel me? I don't care. I like tall women. I like short women. I like women that's not gonna be a burden. You feel me? Like I like women that are emotionally stable. Whatever that means. You said dating is difficult enough. I think only celebs have the ability to look that deep into it. I wouldn't say only celebs. I think as long as you make yourself an exceptional man and an exceptional member of society and you have certain options, you're going to have options of the kind of women that you want to be with or choose. So if you are a tall gentleman that fancies other tall women, you'll probably have more selection than the average man because you've made yourself exceptional. And I want to be very clear, exceptional doesn't mean that you're a multimillionaire. You could be making six figures. That's a good life. You feel me? Don't get caught up in what these guys are saying. Oh, 100,000, that's nothing. Okay, if you're living in New York City, that's true. $100,000 on paper is not a lot of money. But if you're somebody that's earning $175,000 and you're a single male and you're not up to your neck in debt, you're in the top percentile. Not to mention if you're tall, if you're handsome, articulate, and you're making that kind of money and you're single, even if you're 45 and you're single making that kind of money, you're in the top percentile. And then when we look at it from an even macro perspective of saying globally, considering that if you make $35,000 USD in terms of globally, you're in the top percentile. So you guys have options. I think a lot of guys don't realize if you just make yourself exceptional, how many options you truly have as a man. Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, of LeVar. Um, yeah, that's true. What's your take on U.S. sports, NBA, NFL? I don't watch sports like that. I don't got the time anymore. Like I'll catch some highlights of basketball, but I don't have time. All I do is work. That's all I do. And I love my life. I work. When I want to take a break, I go travel. I go on a date. I go hang out with some friends. I go shoot guns. I go do something. I go duck off like in a village in some random country because I do that from time to time. But all I do is work because I love what I do. I love coaching my guys. I love getting my guys results. I don't care about sports. I don't care about movies. I don't care about none of that. Personally, that's me. I'm not saying I will never watch a movie. I will never watch the sport. Yeah, but in terms of my day to day, I don't. Yeah, I don't watch sports. I don't. Yeah, I don't do any. I don't want to say I don't do anything that normal people do, but I don't really care about what's going on in the average populace's lives, if that makes sense. Hope that I worded that right. If not, hey, it is what it is. Have a good day, Jacob. Salute, brother. Do you think it's overhyped for men to be focusing on these things slash other men's success on the field? Of course, brother. Of course, I think it's overhyped. You should not be worried about what another man is doing. You should be focused on building up the video game of your life. You should be focused on building your character. So that's exactly why I'm just not that interested in sports. I'm not interested in watching guys live out their dreams. I'm interested in making my dreams real. Clear as day says, what do you do for skincare? So I wash my face 2 times a day with a moisturizer. I use regular cream. Sometimes I use Tease Hanley. Sometimes I use it's a cream that they have in Colombia called Cerve. I do that, and I mean that's really it, brother. I don't do anything special. My diet is clean. I eat I eat greens every day. I eat lean cuts of meat, some beef, chicken, fish. I drink a lot of water. I eat a lot of berries. I eat berries and ginger every day. I eat honey, maple syrup. I take a lot of vitamins every day too. Multivitamins, I take my zinc because every man should be taking zinc, especially if you're sexually active. You're primarily losing zinc and selenium. So I take zinc, I take saw palmetto, I take maca root, and I make sure that I sweat a lot. I train 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, and I make sure that I'm sweating out the toxins. I I I wash my face. I drink a lot of water. So that's the main thing I do, brother. Nothing, special. All right, fellas. So we're approaching almost an hour here, man. I'm gonna take a couple of more questions before I go. Um, actually, I gotta do something later. So I'll take a couple of more questions, fellas. It's nice talking to y'all, man. Exactly. It's taking care of yourself from the inside out with your nutrition, skincare, even stress levels, right? Which is something that I'm always working on stress levels, getting good quality sleep. Yeah. Last questions, fellas. I'll take a couple of more. What's today? Saturday? Maybe I'll make this like a regular thing on Saturdays. If y'all rock with the streams, man, let me know. And then maybe I'll try to make this like a regular thing that we do on Saturdays because I genuinely enjoy speaking with you guys. And I want to make sure that you guys are more importantly implementing the info. I understand that the content that I make is I talk about a lot of different topics. I drop a lot of knowledge, but what I've come to realize is that for some guys that might be too much and they're trying to find out, okay, so what's a clear thing I can do? Like what's the first step I can do? So I try to tell you guys like what you can start doing today. Okay, David says, how does NoFap journey work? How do you control impulses? Are wet dreams real, frequent in the process? Yeah, so first and foremost, when you control yourself and uh, you're not pleasing yourself and you're building up semen, your body is going to naturally have a nocturnal emission, also known as wet dreams. That's 1000% natural, that's normal, and that's to be expected. How do you control the impulses? Well, something that helps me is I honestly just say, yo, would the best version of Dudley be whacking it to, like corn? No. And why not? Well, because he would have a plethora, he would have a myriad and abundance of sexual access due to him being an exceptional man. So when I talk to you guys about the concept of delusion and selective delusionalism, I mean that. You have to delude yourself into believing that you are the man that you see in your mind, the man that you visualize to be, the best version of yourself that is financially free, that has the good social circle, the brotherhood, the man that's supporting his family, the man that's abundant, the man that's confident, strong, powerful. And when you think and you operate from that position, you start to take actions right now, which is all we truly have. You start to take actions right now as if you're already that man. And so that's going to deter you from acting as if you're not that man. Now, I understand that that's easier said than done. But to be honest, everything is easier said than done. The choice is, are you going to do it? And that's what really separates you from the dogs and from just an average man. And if you want to be an average man, that's cool. Just admit that though. If you want to be a titan, well, you're gonna have to assume that role and walk like that kind of man. And that's the disconnect, fellas. That's the real disconnect. Hope that makes sense. How does it work for you considering your height? What do you mean? How does what work for me? Man, we got to troll, bro. I don't know if we trolling, but no Sean Combs, my guy. No Diddy. All right, man. We got a Sean Combs in the chat, fellas. So, anyway, fellas, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys, man. Comment on the playback if you guys enjoy the stream, and I'm gonna try to make this a regular thing. We got a lot more content coming in. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys, man. Make sure to check me out as well on Instagram at Dudley_E. That being said, fellas, I'm gonna catch you in the next one, man. Salute.